Well, hello, and welcome back to another week of the Godfidently Waiting YouTube channel, where we are still dealing with Women Thou Art Healing. As you can see, I intentionally wore this shirt today that emphasizes the need of both Jesus and therapy that can help to produce our healing. I cannot recall the name of the woman, but I'm going to go through my Instagram page to find her website and plug it in somewhere. I don't know where, but you're gonna see it when I post this vlog, where you can please just go to her channel, go to her website, go to her Instagram page and invest. Make the purchase to even have the reminder that not only Jesus, but also therapy. Not just therapy, but definitely Jesus. The two go hand in hand. And I know growing up in the church, it's emphasized you just need Jesus. But I personally believe that God has equipped those on the earth with the passion, with the desire, with the discipline to go through the training process, the fire process, the refining process to become certified professional counselors and therapists. Especially within the Black community, we were not pushed to go to therapy. It was made to seem as if though something's wrong with you, you're crazy, you're unworthy of even being in relationship with people because you need help. And it's not true. Now, I can say in the beginning of my process to want to grow and heal, I did seek out therapy. Did not have the best experiences. I made the phone call to make the appointment and was questioned about why I was making the appointment, because the situations that had happened were not recent situations, and it's actually going to be about what this vlog is about. We are in another week where I thought that God was going to have me talking about one thing, and then this morning in church it shifted and we had to go through another pivot, and I was like, okay God, it's time. And so if you already saw the caption for this video, you already know this is the one where she overcame being raped. So a lot of people don't know my story. A lot of people don't know even half of what I've gone through and endured. I have literally written a book about all of my experiences in my college years of being raped. Several chapters, because it didn't just happen one time. It didn't just happen 2 or 3 times. It happened several times. And I remember that I wanted to get counseling because I found myself telling myself the lie that if I give it to him, he can't take it. So if I stop saying no, if I stop pushing him away, if I stop fighting, it's not rape. And that's not true. But this was the lie that I told myself, because after the first time, I didn't handle it the best. I didn't know who I could go to. I blamed myself. I was the one who got drunk. I was the one who put myself in this situation. I was ignorant. I figured, if I had my friends with me, it didn't matter how drunk I got, like nothing crazy was gonna happen. And I had to learn throughout my college years that that's not the case. And so you can learn more about my experiences in the book that will be released. But for now, we're just gonna kind of touch on it a little bit. In church today, they did bring awareness that this past week, September 4th through the 10th, was Suicide Prevention Week. I remember seeing a couple of posts about a socialite who recently committed suicide, and I found that ironic that took place during this week. But then I was also reminded that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he will try to get in our minds when he knows the battles that we face, the things that we are working to overcome, the things that God is allowing to work out for our good. The enemy will try to feed us lies in that process, to get us to give up, to get us to quit, to say that what I'm going through is too hard to live through. And I just want to encourage somebody to know that you can and you will make it through. My healing journey has not been easy, and I don't think anybody's healing journey is going to be easy. It's gonna literally be like the waves of the ocean. It's just gonna just keep coming and going and keep coming and going. And there's gonna be some highs and some lows, and I just want to encourage you to, even when you have the highs, be grateful and mindful of those when the lows come. To know that this low moment is temporary and that you don't have to do this alone. When I first experienced being raped, I didn't even call it rape. I would say I was taken advantage of. Typically in movies and shows, when you see rape or hear about rape, the person is like punching and scratching and kicking and yelling and all that stuff. And so in my mind, if it was not at that level, then it wasn't rape. And it was just someone taking advantage of an opportunity that they saw. In college, there were some things, me and my mom weren't on the best terms because of other people that were involved. And because I didn't want to resent her, I told her, like, I'm gonna just kind of dip out early, go do my thing, and that's gonna be that. But in that time, I'm family oriented. And now I feel like I don't have family. But I got friends though, who are like my family now. And their family's treating me like family. But it still didn't take away the hurt that I felt from what was going on with my family. So I started drinking again. Because I started drinking back in middle school. So this wasn't like a first time thing. I started drinking again a lot more to numb the pain, because I am a happy drunk. So the more I drank, the happier I was. At least that's what I told myself. But that was the happier that I was. I realized, like, when you're drunk, it'll kind of just like bring out what's really in you, so to speak. So I realized, hey, I'm not always this hard person who has an attitude. Like, I really like to laugh and smile and just bring joy and live in joy. Noted. That's cool to find out about yourself. But yeah, so I was drinking, trying to numb the pain, partying to numb the feeling of feeling alone, not dealing with the rejection that I had going on. And so I self-medicated in a way that was not healthy. So I didn't like do the whole pills and stuff, because thankfully my body does not like any of that stuff. I don't like being sick. And so if I take pills and stuff, I would be sick and throwing up. And so that was just not my thing. Like, I'm good on that. But alcohol, I might not be able to walk. I'm not going to remember half of the people that I met in this moment. I'm not going to remember them tomorrow. But I'm not going to throw up. So because of that, I constantly would just go to the alcohol. It didn't matter the time of day. It didn't matter what it was. Give me whatever. And then from that, when I would be in situations where maybe I was around a guy that I liked, a guy that I was attracted to, a guy that I was dating. And then in some of the situations, I was not attracted to them. I did not want them at all, but then they saw an opportunity where you knew that I was not going to remember anything from that night based on how much I was drinking that night. But by that point, I had gotten to the point of just, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I'm cool. I am tired of feeling tormented as if though my wounds and my trauma is too deep to be healed. And so I would always want to help others and make other people happy, because I felt like that was a sense of like joy for me. Like, I can't find happiness within myself because I just feel like I'm too damaged. But if I can bring you joy, then I feel good. And after the first situation, I didn't know who to go to. I didn't know who would understand. I felt like the way that I lied to myself, because it wasn't truths that I was telling myself, the way that I lied to myself and spoke to myself, you know, just bashed myself and talked to myself in horrible ways, I felt like if I told anybody else, they were going to do the same thing. So in my mind, here it was, I was drunk. I said no, and I did, you know, make the effort to kind of like push away and stuff, but I don't know exactly what it was that made me not want to do like a full like fight situation. I feel like even maybe in that moment, without realizing it, I really started to tell myself, well, if I give it to him, he can't take it. But I didn't fight enough. For me, I didn't fight enough. I want you to know, the moment you say no, and especially if you're putting in physical effort to stop it with your no, like no means no regardless. It doesn't matter if you're attracted to the person, doesn't matter if you're in a relationship with a person, no means no. And your no should be respected. This is for women, this is for men, because I also know, as I've started to share my story, there are men out there who had other men or other women take advantage of them. And they've kept those things to themselves because to share that, people may question their masculinity. They may question their sexuality and their sexual preference. And I hope that if there is a male man who is watching this video, that you gain the courage and the strength to speak up, to know that the experience does not define who you are. We all deserve healing, and we all deserve to grow from whatever it is that we go through. My journey is kind of like a little funny now, just from looking back at all the ways that I started to gain strength, you know? I'll be honest, till this day, I have not started therapy yet, but I am making the plan to schedule the appointment this week. Whether it's with BetterHelp or whether it's with Talkspace, I'm going to do it. Because enough is enough. It's time to stop delaying it, and it's probably going to be a question that I pose to my therapist. Why have I been putting this off? But to get back to it, the journey to my healing has been random. Sometimes we go through things and we question God, and we do the why have you forsaken me? Why am I going through this? And this is what they were even talking about in church today. Why am I going through this? Why does this keep happening to me? I didn't know that I was going to be a part of the journey to break generational curses. That the personality that I have, where people would make me feel like something was wrong with me and say that I'm stubborn and I'm prideful, I learned, no, don't try to make me feel like who I am and the personality that I have is just unlovable. It's too hard to deal with. I'm learning how to take those negative things that were said and turn them into something positive now. I'm not stubborn and prideful. I'm not claiming that over my life anymore. I'm someone who, when I have my mind made up and I have a strong belief in something, that I stand firm in it. I'm not going to allow anyone nor anything shake that. And you need to have that in you to break generational curses. There were people in my lineage who didn't have the strength to stand up, who didn't have the strength and the courage to speak up because we were silenced. They were silenced. That you can't share this part of your life. People don't deserve to know all of that about you. Our family business is our family business. And then I find out that when I finally speak up to say, I was raped before. This is what happened. This is how I responded. But it keeps happening and I don't know why. Like, is it something wrong with me? Is it something in me? And I'm realizing from the generations, I wasn't the first one who experienced it. But no one had spoken up. No one talked about being molested, being taken advantage of. So why would I feel like I could go to somebody? Had someone spoken up, had someone shared those stories, I would have known that I could go to somebody because I wasn't alone in that experience. And so from me speaking up, I learned about those within my family who had the same experience, the same trauma, the trauma that was unhealed. And so then when I'm trying to figure out why does it keep happening, I was reminded today about how all things are going to work together for the good of those who love God and are called to his purpose. And a motto was given to me maybe a couple of years ago that I want to try and share in every episode. If I slip up and forget, I'm sorry, but this is a motto I do want to share. He gave it to me and it says that we were created on purpose, with purpose, for purpose that is greater than us. What does this look like? I was raped several times in various ways. And it always took me out. And if the enemy had his way, when I wanted to drink myself to the point of not waking up the next day, I wouldn't be here to share the story. I wouldn't be here to write the book. I wouldn't be here to release the book, to help someone else know that you can speak up. That remaining silent and not talking about it is the very thing that is killing you inside, that is stealing your joy, that is destroying the purpose that God has for you. God broke my heart down to the point where I had no choice but to learn how to be vulnerable and see that as a strength. From Transformation Church, hearing Pastor Todd talk about his experiences between his addiction to pornography, from him being molested as a child, helped me to speak up. That here it is that you are on this platform for a reason, for a purpose greater than you. I remember the first time I really shared what happened. There was an older guy that I was talking to in college, and because he listened to a lot of what I said, one day randomly he was like, I hear you mentioning this friend on how you used to be friends. Like, what happened with y'all? Why aren't y'all friends anymore? And to explain why we were no longer friends was to have to address when she watched me get taken advantage of and didn't stop it. She was too drunk to stop it, but sober enough to go tell our other friend right after it happened. And that night was a blur. I know I had gotten so drunk that night because I was done. I was tired of struggling. I was tired of trying to live through and function through depression and trauma and feeling like I was dealing with this alone. That I'm just like, look, I'm gonna just keep drinking and drinking until I just can't feel nothing no more. And whatever happened, that's what's gonna happen. I remember this girl, she came up to me that night and she was like, oh, what you want to drink? Girl, whatever. Surprising. So stupid. Please don't ever do that. To this day, I don't know what she brought me. I was just drinking everything. Then the party got shut down. Police were coming. Somebody had gotten sick or whatever. And it was a whole lot going on. And so I know, like, me and my friends, we were just going somewhere. And I remember we walking down the hall and then some guys came out with, you know, more alcohol, and my friend didn't want to take her shot, so I took hers and mine. Like, I was done. And I was willing to take myself out however I could that night. And I was a little mad the next day because I was still here. Not only was I still here, but I was still here with another experience of being taken advantage of by more than one person. And having a so-called friend watch and not stop it. So when I shared this story with the guy, he didn't shame me. He didn't bash me. He said, that's not your fault. They didn't have a right to take advantage of you like that. It doesn't matter how drunk you were. That didn't give them a right. You gotta stop taking all of that on you. It's cool to have accountability. You chose to stop drinking after that night. Great. But that wasn't all on you. They didn't have the right to do that. In that moment, it helped me. Because when I was so fearful of the moment I share this, I'm going to be bashed, judged. I didn't respect myself anymore. So how could somebody else respect me? And he treated me with compassion. Not sympathy, but compassion and empathy. And that started the healing journey. Sharing it with my mom. But at this point, it happened, several times. And after that, when it was happening again, I was able to share it with her. The first time it happened, I didn't call the cops and say, hey, this is what happened, and go through that whole process. Because I blamed myself. I didn't think, why would I call the cops the day after? What are they going to do now? I've showered. I've, no clothes are ripped or anything like that. I went back to the guy to have sex with him sober and be in control. Because in my mind, that's how I took my power back. And then what it started to happen was in relationships. Even when I wanted to wait for sex until marriage. I had been wanting to wait for sex until marriage for years. But this trauma, this seed that was planted with this, it was just that constant battle. And because I was not healing, it was just a continued struggle where I said, okay, I know I want to wait, in my heart and my mind, I want to wait. But I don't want to be in a position again where I got to tell myself, well, if I give it to him, he can't take it. Or it may go to the point where I got to fight. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't want to be in this kind of situation again. The way I handled it was not the best way to handle it. I did not get my power back. It made it worse. You can't use sex to, in a sense, take your power back. But after it happened a few times, and I talk about it in the book, I was like, dang, I wouldn't go that route, but I understand the mind of a prostitute. A lot of them usually have dealt with being raped before. I can understand, especially when it's happening to you over more than one time, more than two times. The more it happens, that one time alone can be the thing to take you out. And that's why I'm grateful for God, because I didn't lose my mind when I could have. When some people did. I'm thankful. And I'm grateful. But I understand how it's dang, you're literally taking what's mine and what belongs to me. If you're gonna keep trying to take what's mine, I might as well, like, in a sense of having power over it, get paid for it and give it to you. Like, I'm a profit off of this, but you trying so hard to take. I'm gonna give it to you, but then I'm gonna also run this check too. I got that. I understood that. I didn't choose that route, but I started to understand it. Like, when it keep happening, you like, bruh, what is this? I realized that with the first situation, it wasn't right. And there are guys to this day who probably don't even think that they raped someone or taken advantage of someone. I remember towards the end of my college year, I think it was like, this was my senior year. A friend that I had, her boyfriend at the time, made the comment of, oh yeah, if you agree to hang out with a guy, that means you want to have sex with him. What? So because he truly felt this way, I said, and a lot of other guys feel this way. I remember having friends who, they didn't know my story. And you know what kind of make it seem like, oh, when you're dating guys, you shouldn't open up with, oh, I'm not having sex, so don't even try it. Or if I'm gonna hang out with you, like, look, let me make it clear, let me make it known it's not gonna happen. And I was just like, I was getting frustrated with this because people don't know your story. And so you can't necessarily like be upset with them for something they don't know. They haven't had that experience to feel like that is what you have to lead with. They've been able to be respected and not taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? If they hang out with somebody, go on a date or like somebody, whatever. That wasn't my case. And so I said, no, when you've been taken advantage of, when you've literally, you just said no and it wasn't respected. When it happens multiple times, you do get to the point where you feel like, no, I need to make it verbally known. I need to say this in writing. All right, if we hang out, just know like sex is not on the table, so don't even try it. Because even with that, I would say that and they would still not care once we hung out. And so I went through the process of, I'm gonna just isolate myself and not even deal with guys, because clearly that's all that can be done, because it's something in me, it's something wrong with me that keeps attracting this experience. It was a lot to handle. A lot of tears were shed, entering a lot of toxic relationships. I was in 2 abusive relationships, and the last time that it happened was with my ex in college. And I think for me, the reason why that was like the worst time was because that was the first time I actually cried in the process. And I didn't participate. Like the thought of, well, if I give it to you, you can't take it, did come up, but I didn't try to like actively participate in my mind of giving. Like it was just like, I really don't want to do this. And I'm literally holding myself and I'm literally crying, and you don't care because you're on whatever drugs and alcohol, so you don't care. You don't care. And I remember even after that situation, the next day, I addressed it with him, and then I suppressed it all because that was the weekend that we were going to go meet his family. I was supposed to be going to celebrate my friend's birthday with her in Atlanta that same weekend as well, and other people had already like canceled, and I didn't want to be another one. So I suppressed it all and acted like it was nothing. That was not healthy at all. But God dealt with me throughout that relationship. It built up my prayer life. I learned that I'm not damaged goods. I learned how God can strengthen you enough to pray for someone you want to hate. God allowed me to encounter some of the people who had taken advantage of me. I mean, because they were walking around the college campus like it was nothing. They sometimes would speak to me like nothing happened. And that was a lot to deal with and a lot to take. But throughout all of those experiences, I was grateful for the people that I connected with. When I was quiet, suppressing, not knowing how and when to speak up, through random encounters with people, somehow either they shared their story first or I started to share mine and they had like a similar story. And in those moments, I felt like, wow, I'm not alone in this. What I've gone through isn't too bad to live through, you know? Like the way that this person is helping to free me and help, you know, release some of this guilt and shame, I can be that person for someone else too. And so gradually, randomly, I would share my experience. And then I remember watching the show called 13 Reasons. Is it 13 Reasons Why? I think it's 13 Reasons. It's one of those, but it's on Netflix. And the situation was a girl, she committed suicide. And she released these tapes for several people on like why they were a part of the reason. And I was like, dang, that's deep. But throughout the show, I was able to see the different scenarios, like of someone being raped and staying quiet, and how when you speak up, when it's you versus this person who's an athlete or a part of some kind of whatever fraternity or organization where they are already praised and it's your word over theirs, and guess whose side the people take? Theirs. And then you're bashed and you're treated like you're trash, and the things that you've already said about yourself, people are now saying about you. And now we can't even speak up to say, this happened to me too. Because now people are like, did it really happen to you? I remember sharing my story with someone, and then when we got with another friend, she made up this whole lie saying that this guy had raped her. And I'm like, what? I was so mad because she wasn't raped. She had cheated on her boyfriend. But in that situation, to get sympathy, she just made up this lie. And I'm like, and this is why we can't even, like, we don't feel like we can speak up. Because when we try to share our truth, you have other people who will try to be like on a bandwagon. Oh yeah, it happened to me too, and it didn't. So then it like devalues our voice to speak up. And I just want to encourage you, if you have had this experience in any kind of way, do not allow anyone to silence you. I'm not allowing anyone, I don't care what generation, how you are related to me, I will speak up now. And I will live against the grain to say enough is enough, to say no more, to know that there is power in our voice. I remember always being told like I talked a lot, and I remember diarrhea was one of my nicknames because of how much I started talking, and I would be insecure about speaking up. I would be insecure about like really sharing things with people because I felt like, dang, oh, they probably think I'm talking too much. I share these vlogs and I'm like, oh, I just wanted it to be like 8 minutes and here it is 30 minutes. But somebody maybe needs those 30 minutes. Where one person can say, oh, you're talking too much. Another person can say, I needed that. I'm so glad you said that because that helped me. And so I'm just learning how to heal through the negative things that were said and turn them into positives, how to turn them into purpose. And I'm grateful for all the seeds that were planted, that even when people in the generations before me didn't have the power or the courage, whatever it was, to speak up and share and say and do, that they started to empower me. I am grateful for my mother, because when I shared my experience in front of a group of women for the first time was at one of her conferences. It was like, well, it was a women's retreat. And I remember just, oh, it was so hard. Oh my gosh, because that was being so vulnerable. Oh, I hated it, but it was necessary. And I remember like I would just take my moments to be alone and to go like journal and write, because we were like away at a cabin. And while I was away writing, it was laid on me that was like a part of my healing, to journal. So I was already like applying methods of counseling without even realizing it, because that is an exercise, a homework assignment they'll give some people, was to journal. So I started journaling, and I told her, I said, this is my healing process, to write it all out, to take it off my mind, give it to the paper, and it no longer consumes me in my mind. So I'm releasing it, right? And then she was like, well, why not turn it into a book? At this time, I did not like reading myself. So I was like, me write a book? I don't know. And she said, your book and your voice could be the thing to free someone else to know that they're not alone and they can speak up too. And in that moment, it was like, you know what? I do see that one of my purposes is that there's going to be someone who can say, because of you, I didn't give up. Because there are people on this earth and who are no longer on this earth that I say within my heart, because of you, I didn't give up. This book has been in the making since 2015, June 2015. And though my mom is not here physically to see what it's gonna do, the freedom that it's gonna bring to people's lives, the healing impact that it's gonna have, I'm thankful that she planted that seed to not just write about it for me, but to share with others in the world who want to speak up, who want to be free, who are tired of being tormented in their minds, tired of trying to self-medicate because they're saying drinking and doing drugs and partying and having sex with people, it's not bringing me joy, but I don't know what else to do to numb the pain. I don't know what else to do to numb the thoughts. Who can I go to? When I tried to sign up for counseling, because I didn't have a police report, because it had happened years prior to, that woman on the phone was like, well, why are you trying to schedule an appointment? I didn't even know that there was a requirement to schedule a therapy session. And at that time, she was not a Black woman. She was of another race. And so that in itself was like, am I not worthy of getting counseling because of my race now? Like, these were the feelings that I had. I said, forget that. I ain't trying that again. I'm gonna figure something out. Try it on my own. And see what happens. And I come to God. What's up? Like, why is this happening? And He has taken me through this process of refining and seeing that He equipped me with the strength to not only have the experiences, but share them. Share them despite the fact that someone may try to judge you and bash you and talk negatively about you. But there is also going to be someone who is ready to give up. There's going to be someone who is just like, I can't take this. It's too much pressure. I don't know how to function with this. I don't know how to live with this, and I'm tired of living with this. Do not give up. There is purpose in the experience, and you are going to be able to be that person that someone can look up to and say that because of you, I didn't give up. Sometimes it does take the younger generation to speak up and say things that the older generation has chose to keep secrets. Like, I don't know why that was the case, but that is what I've noticed. And so we have generations, older generations, who were living with traumas and not sharing them, and then it continue on to the different generations, And then they're wondering why we are the way that we are. And it's just like, well, it didn't start with us. But now we act out. We're acting out in different ways, and they're not understanding why we're acting out in certain ways. And it's like, really, when things are going on around us, let's look inwardly. Have I been a part of the problem? And if so, what can I do to rectify this? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to speak up. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to release this book. I'm going to share my story with the world. Whoever is meant to hear it is going to hear it. And I'm grateful that I can now, in this particular moment, share the story and not feel broken, not be crying my eyes out. So I do want to encourage someone that if you've gone through the experience, it's going to be hard. It's going to be times where you are crying and you just feel like, am I ever going to heal? Am I ever going to have the pieces put together again? And then there's going to be a moment when you can like look back and say, dang, I remember when I couldn't even laugh at this. I remember when I couldn't even smile while talking about this. And here, I'm here to show you there's joy at the end of it. I'm here to show you there's hope at the end of it. I'm not completely whole. I'm not completely healed, but I am so much better than how I used to be. There has been so much progress along this journey. And so I want you to know you have a voice and you can use it. And if someone doesn't believe in you, that's a them problem. But know that I believe in you. There are others out here that believe in you. Do not give up hope. You will come out of this. There is a community out here to support you. And so look up the resources. From the show 13 Reasons Why, I ended up signing up with this movement called, it's the No More movement, or Say No More. I get like different subscriptions from them. And I said, I'm gonna actively work with them. I've been putting it off, but it's time to go. It's time to do. It's time to join with the community of those who are saying it's time to say no more. Let's bring awareness to the situation. Let's bring awareness to the different examples of rape. It's not just I'm fighting you. It's not just I'm kicking and screaming. It's the moment I say no, if you still push to do it, it is rape. It doesn't matter if I give up the fight and give in to let you have it. My no was still no. If you're so drunk, even if you didn't say no while you were drunk, you were not in the mental capacity to truly be able to say no. It is not your fault. You did not deserve that. And what I've learned is that when those experiences happen, it plants a seed to where you no longer have self-respect. And then you start to act out things in a way that are not respecting you. And I've learned that within myself, and I've seen it with other people, how I get why you're doing that, because I was there too. So I'm not even going to judge, because I understand that you do things and you say things and you want people to treat you some way. You accept certain things because you don't respect yourself. So why should somebody else? To do this makes me feel like I'm being treated the way I deserve to be treated, because I don't respect myself. So as I started to heal, I said, I need to find ways to respect me, to love me. And so that's why I had to stay connected to who created me. When people wonder how I can smile and spread joy throughout everything that I've been going through, at least the things that they know about, because I know what God brought me through. I know when I could have lost my mind. I know when I wanted to give up. I know when I was just like, yo, why did you let me live through that? Why didn't you let that car take me out that night? Why didn't you let the alcohol take me out that night? Why did you let me survive this? And when I got out of that pity, when I got out of what the enemy was trying to do, he was trying to kill, steal, and destroy everything that God had birthed me out of. The enemy tried to take me out as a baby. but I'm still here. You're still here. And we are still here because we were created on purpose, with purpose, for purpose that is greater than us. It's not going to always be easy, but as you do frequent progress checks, know that all things are working together for the good of those who love God and are called to His purpose. So when we go through certain situations and we're like trying to figure out, why I gotta go through this? God, what is your purpose for this situation? What is your purpose for this experience? Show it to me. Give me the heart to want to obey and have the heart willing to obey. Because sometimes we don't feel like it. Sometimes we're like, God, really? You sure? Okay. I feel like there could have been another way. I don't think this had to be the way, but all right, this is what you chose. Or sometimes from our bad choices, He will still turn it around for our good. That even when we made choices, because it was like, God, I'm not feeling how you doing it, so I'm gonna make my own way. And then when we go that wrong way, He can still turn it around for our good. Like, all the crap that I have done, all the messes I've made, all the bad choices that I made, and God still has turned them all around for my good. Oh my gosh. What? How could you not serve Him? How could you not be grateful for Him? How could you not praise Him? I thank you. I thank you for breaking my heart enough to be able to be transparent with people, to be vulnerable with people. Because if God didn't break me down, I would have still had my guards up and my walls up to not let anybody in, to not share any of what I've gone through with people. Because I was trying to self-preserve. I was trying to protect myself, including trying to protect myself from God. Like, you allow too many things to happen. I'm going to just keep this all to myself. I'm going to just, nope. But then as I continued to truly want a relationship with Him and build intimacy with Him, I would worship. And in my times of worship, He would break my heart down. And I would cry, and I would release, and I would write, and I would get new knowledge and revelation. There would be times of moments to just not hear anything, not say anything, but just feel peace. To feel the weights lifted. And then in times when I'm feeling drained after that process, I may feel drained, but then He leads me to the position to just want to rest. And then I rest in Him. And while I'm resting, He's healing me from the inside out. Because that's the benefit of resting. Your body literally is healing itself while you're resting. So the more you rest, so I'm thankful for the purge. I'm thankful for the transformation. I'm thankful for Him breaking me, because I know how hard my heart was towards people. And He still has to deal with me. I still can sometimes get in the way. But He's working in me continually. We are in partnership with each other. As He works, I move. And sometimes I'm stagnant. Sometimes I don't know, just, this book was supposed to be out. I was supposed to be working on the second book this year. I've gotten some of it done, but He like, all right now. And I'm thankful that even when I'm delaying His call and purpose, He doesn't give up on me. He doesn't walk away or make me feel like I'm not good enough to fulfill this. That when I come back like, oh dang God, I was supposed to be doing this. I forgot you had said that. And he's like, yep, it's still here. It's still your call. You ready to answer now? Because when you answer, like, you got really answered. So I'm answering the call. Hello. And I feel great that I didn't go in depth, but the fact that I can put out there, I've been raped multiple times, but those experiences don't define who I am. They were just a part of my story, and these stories are gonna help free some people. If you are in Georgia and you have been contemplating suicide, contemplating giving up and say, your life is not worth living, this is just too much, there are resources, there is help out here. You are not alone. Reach out. There's a community out here who want to encourage you, to let you know to not give up. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's light out of the darkness. God will work in you to create you to be the light in the darkness. If you have these thoughts, you can call or text 988. This is for the state of Georgia. I'm not sure of the number for other states, but please, quick Google search. We are good with technology. Quick Google search to see what is the number to call or text in your state if you are contemplating these thoughts. If you have community, you have friends, there is someone out there who you can call. Please do not give up. You're going to get through this. And so that is going to be that. If you don't know where to turn, if you don't know where to start, we can start with going to God in prayer. And I mean, like, really, like, getting with him, questioning him, whatever it is on your heart and mind, like, literally, he already knows anyways, giving it to him. Sign up for therapy. Sometimes we are over here like, God, I'm over here asking you for help. I'm trying to come to you, and you already allowed the situation to happen. Then I'm coming to you, you not saying anything. Hello, are you even there? Are you even real? Like, what's up? Meanwhile, he over here like, first of all, I've already equipped you with what you need to endure this. Second of all, the teacher is always silent during the test. Third of all, I met you where you were, and you still ignored me. I did answer the call. I just didn't answer where you thought I was going to. How so? You were more focused on social media and scrolling on your timeline. And so then I presented an app for BetterHelp, for Talkspace, for other therapy apps that are out there for you to sign up today and get the help that you need from the comfort of your home, from the comfort of your phone, where no one else has to know what's going on. All you had to do is download the app, sign up, and start the process. You ignored the ad that provided the help of someone who I equipped with the passion and the desire to go through the refining and training process of becoming licensed professional therapists. And you still wondering where I am. I'm everywhere. And I've equipped my people what they need to help each other. Church is necessary. Jesus is necessary. Having a pastor, a spiritual covering, necessary. But we also need those who are licensed and trained to provide therapy, the tips and tools that we need to help learn how to navigate through this thing called life. So this is another reminder, if you have not done it yet, there are therapy apps out there, and that is a great start. You want to learn how to connect more with Jesus and you don't know where to start. There are so many Bible plans. Literally, you type in something that you're dealing with, whether it's lust, whether it's anger, whether it's trauma, whether it's budgeting. What literally you type in a topic, something will come up and you can start there. You don't have to do the Bible plan like, oh, I got to keep up each day. Sometimes you can take a day of the Bible plan and make that go throughout the whole week. You got a Bible plan that has several scriptures. Don't make the habit of just doing it for the sake of doing it. Like, do it to where you're going to really grow from it and learn from it. I've learned about this sunshine method that I'm just like applying it to everything now. But it's you basically get the sheet of paper, you make the little circle, then you do the little lines. Then, make it like the sun. I like colors, so I use my color yellow and whatnot. And it's different sections for different reasons, but I've just, it's different for every topic. So it's, with the scripture, what's the translation? What's the commentary for it? What's the purpose in it? How can I apply it to my everyday life? What are other scripture references that are connected to this? There's words in this. What does that really mean, like biblically? Like the world will say this is that word, but no, what was this word intended during this time to really relate to my everyday life? Let me get the dictionary. Let me Google this word, like to really understand what does this even mean biblically, because my carnal mind says it means this, but then spiritually it means something completely different. Like really using that to study the word. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that I'm excited. Like, am I a nerd right now? I'm not a nerd. I like doing research and I like studying and learning more and finding ways to grow. And so, yeah, if you want any of these tools, if you want any of these methods, if you just want someone to talk to and say, hey, I need somebody to talk to, I feel like I could share with you and I won't be judged, that I'll be heard and I'll be understood, and maybe we could, go through this together, reach out to me. I have Godfiddling Waiting is all my social media names now. And so you can DM me, we can connect. I don't mind being a resource. I don't mind connecting you with resources in your areas. You are not alone in this. I promise you. Okay? So, said all that to say this. Don't give up. It's hard, but you're going to be able to smile. You're going to know what peace feels like. You're going to be grateful for healing. You're going to be grateful for the tears. At some point, you'll probably learn how to, even if you don't appreciate the experience, you appreciate the purpose that was birthed out of the experience. So, until next week, I hope that you really take that next step to be courageous and seek the help and actively learn how to live a healing life. Because as long as we are here, we are all still healing from something, because we are all still going to have some kind of life experience that is going to produce some kind of emotion or grief or depression or anxiety, and just knowing that we can make it out of those. So, until next week, peace and self-love. Oh yeah, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because somebody needs this. All right, talk to you later. Bye.